So here's a weird one for you. Even though I grew up a Nintendo kid, I've always had a soft spot for Sonic the Hedgehog. And even today, I find myself really enjoying his games. Like, even the last cartoon they came out with, I thought was really good. And I do enjoy having a small selection of Sonic figures in my collection, specifically anytime they do anything in the, like, Dreamcast, like, Adventures era. So, like, your Shadow, your Rouge, etc. So I do have that little micro collection of characters. That that said, they did toys for the movies, and the movies are, well, their peak is what they are. It's everything that a video game movie tries to be, including making up its own storyline, but it's actually really good. And then they did toys for movie 3, and I thought, let's grab some because yeah, I'm digging this. So we're gonna take a look at what Sonic looked like from his third movie toy line, and yeah, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good approximation. Smiling face, a little bit happier in this one. There's a few variations depending on features and such, but this is a happier, more relaxed Sonic, which is not a bad thing to see. Cast in, well, big shock, blue plastic with some white for the gloves and the shoes, and very well textured. Now, obviously, it's not going to replicate every little quill that they CGI in, but for the most part, it does its job of just looking a lot pointier and a lot more detailed than a standard Sonic. It looks like I would expect a Hedgehog to look when it's rendered in plastic. The weird part is at the back of the head where you see a lot of these translucent inlays. And this is because I'm pretty sure the back of the head uses the same parts as the light up version of this figure. I don't know why they didn't just put, solid plastic in for this. I'm assuming a lot of this is like the same run on these parts just for the sake of producing so many at the same time, or likely to keep the cost down. But yeah, all the way around, looking pretty good. Got all the spines and the tail accurate. The number of everything is correct. A lot of attention to detail. I am happy with this. This is also like one of the rare times I actually get to see like the feet design. I know, feet pics. I didn't even realize that, the buckle is off the side of his shoe, and instead he just kind of has that little bit of gold on the lip. I don't know, weird details I notice, but still. Now, it's a pretty good figure, and it won me points as soon as I took it out of the box because, well, frankly, it's stable. The part about Sonic and his design is all those big quills behind his head makes his head incredibly top-heavy and back-heavy at the same time. So if I bring in, like, their standard Sonic figure, which you can see the movie figures are far larger, thus, they are like $3 or $4 more expensive than a standard one. If I give this Sonic a little nose boop, he goes down immediately. If I give this Sonic a nose boop, he stays. This one is incredibly back heavy, and if you're not posing him exactly right, he is going to topple over to the point where I usually have like a much heavier figure behind him just in case a bookshelf gets jostled. And then like the Supersonic, don't even try. I can't get the Supersonic to stand up at all. So balance-wise, it's already way better of a figure. But then feature-wise, we get better. He doesn't just have painted eyes. He has translucent lenses over the eyes to actually protect the surface of, his iris and his paint in there, which is a really, really cool touch. I really, really like that. If we look into articulation, you have a ball-jointed head, all 360 degrees of rotation, as well as some up and down, some left and right. Get some good poses out of there. Butterfly joints. It's a Sonic the Hedgehog toy with butterfly joints. That's kind of wild to me. Universal shoulder joints, moves in every direction I want those to move in. 360 degrees on the bicep. A 90-degree elbow joint. Wrist joint below the wrist cuff. I believe. Is there a little hinge in there too? It looks as though there is, but it's so tight I can't move it, so I'm not going to test it. However, opening hands. That's a pretty cool one. Just double checking. No wrist hinge. It's just sculpted to look kind of like it does. Body does have a what should be like an ab crunch waist joint combination. Ball jointed there, lots of range of movement. Ball joints in the hips means you have universal range there for kicks and such. It's a running character. I should expect it to have really good leg articulation. Thighs are 360-degree rotation. Knees get above a 90-degree angle. Great to see. You have a great bit of ankle tilt. I can't rotate the ankle, but I can swivel the leg just below the knee, so that kind of like fills in for that need. Yeah, but really good ankle tilt too. So you end up with this exceptionally posable Sonic the Hedgehog figure. It can do pretty much anything you need it to do, pose-wise, and that is a pretty fantastic thing to have. So, very happy with how this turned out. Happy enough that I did end up getting, basically the entirety of the movie line. At the very least, all the woodland creatures, let's put it that way. So, these were, back when you could still find them in stores, and they're like $14-15 a pop. But for the size and the articulation, yeah, like I'm very, very impressed. The downside is that unlike these standard figures, they do not come with an accessory piece. At least most of them don't. So you're pretty much just looking at base figure and just very well articulated. But in every category, the movie figure outdoes the classic figure. The articulation's way better. The balance is way better. The details have more attention to them. It's as if they focus just all their attention into just making him a really good action figure, knowing that movie toy line was going to sell incredible numbers. And it seemed like it did. I have not seen the likes of like Shadow stay at a store for like longer than a week. So the popular characters go like immediately. And it's one of the few toy lines where I notice it cycles through its stock over and over again. Sonic stuff always sells well, but the movie stuff, yeah, like it just seemed like they just kept going through wave after wave of it. And rightfully so. I mean, it's categorically better than the standard Sonic figures, to the point where I kind of wish this was the standard. I kind of wish this was what they strived to. So, there you go. There's a look at a Sonic 3 movie figure, and I will tell you that Knuckles, Shadow, Tails, the Supers, they all kind of fall into the same very, very nicely made category, and it has me excited for whenever movie 4 shows up. Because that way, we get a little bit, we get Amy and Metal in this toy line as well. I'm going to be very happy. So, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you very much for joining me for another Toycember. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.